All right, welcome to the Real Family Therapy Podcast. This is episode 6. Real Family Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Double OG. My co-host, I got Are You Serious in the building. We got Dad in the building. In his background, I thought he was in the car. But it was really just a virtual background. I'm like, is you in the car and my mom's in the background?
Let me switch my background up for the people.
Yeah. There you go. So, and I'm at the crib again today because it's negative 30 degrees outside right now in Minnesota. St. Paul, Minnesota to be exact. It feel like negative 30 degrees. It's really like negative 10 degrees, but it feels negative 30 according to weather.com. So I just decided to stay at home because it feel like 20 degrees in my house. It's still cold. That's why I got the hoodie on. The whole house. I got the oven on, warming the crib up right now.
I was about to say. Turn that oven on.
Yeah, and I just blew out my space heater yesterday, so I gotta go to the store after I get done with this and get another space heater.
But yeah, Minnesota so problems. I had to turn the AC on last night, man. I tell you, it was hot.
It ain't just a Minnesota problem. They got snowstorms in Dallas.
Yeah.
I heard about that in Texas.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, they crashing all over the place down there. They don't know nothing about driving in the snow.
They don't even, and see what's crazy is I didn't think about that, but they probably don't even have no snow plows.
Yeah.
They don't got no salt. They don't got none of that stuff.
Like so Minnesota is ready. We ready for anything. Yeah. They ain't ready. That's why they close the schools right away. Like we the stores are closing. They ain't had no heat in 2 or 3 days because electricity's been shut off in a lot of places
because it's so cold.
Yep, cold and the snow and the ice. The ice is melting. The ice is tearing the trees down, and the trees are falling down on the power lines and knocking out their electricity. So you got people trying to stay in their cars to get some heat and dying from carbon dioxide poison.
Wow. I did not know that. I just heard it was snowing a little bit, but yeah, I mean, they wouldn't be prepared though. They 70, like you say in California, like imagine snow. Like, why would California have a fleet of snowplows?
I mean, I just
in Southern California.
But that's California too, though, in the background.
Yeah, I'm talking about Southern California.
Yeah, Southern California, no.
Yeah, like LA not gonna have their Department of Works with like 17 snowplows.
The roads aren't even made for snow. Like they got the like in the different lanes, separating the lanes, they got the little light reflector bumps at the bottom of the roads. On the actual road. So when I first came out here, I was like, yo, why do they got all these different reflectors on the actual road? Well, you can do that if you don't have to plow.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I didn't even know about it. I was just like, okay, what's all this crap on the road?
Yeah, I never seen the reflectors on the road before.
Yeah, they got they got like these little bitty bumps, but it's the reflectors. So like it'll help you, like if it's raining or dark or whatever, it'll help you see what lane you're in. But obviously up in Minnesota, you can't have that if you got the plows scraping the ground every day.
True. Yeah, we just got the little yellow paint.
Right.
White yellow tape.
Right.
Yeah, but it's definitely 30 below outside right now. It's freezing. I feel sorry for anybody that doesn't have anywhere to stay. In Minnesota, we got a lot. I don't know. In California, they got Skid Row in Southern California. In Sacramento, do you guys have homeless camps?
Excuse me?
I'm just asking. Y'all have like homeless camps?
Where? There's, so that's what, yes. I'll just keep it simple. Yes. In California, it has the most homeless people.
If I was homeless, that's where I would want to be, Cali or Florida.
So there are literal
you guys
tents.
Have 10 cities? Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
so there are literal tents everywhere. It's not like so the tent city sounds a little odd because you think of like a whole bunch of them, but like at every exit or things like that, you might see 3 or 4 tents, or depending on the area. Now, like San Francisco and like LA, Like they got for real tent cities. Sacramento has a ton of tents, but it's not like the actual cities per se. But like in like they're everywhere, son. And I mean everywhere. And it's getting worse and worse, obviously, with the pandemic and without having the proper health care and things like it's a long story, but it's there's a lot of things that contribute to homelessness. And it's a lot of it because of there's not a lot of proper mental health assistance. And people aren't people just think someone's homeless because they're homeless, or people just think someone's homeless because they are terrible at business, or they just make like there's a lot of different situations and why someone is homeless. There may be because of danger at the home, so they are homeless because they don't feel safe where they are, so they have to get out of there, or I mean mental illness or things like that. And so I mean there's just a lot of different situations on why, but there's a ton of tents.
That's how it is in St. Paul. We don't have a tent city. In Minneapolis, they got a tent city right over where we used to live off of Cedar.
But how?
Not right now. They tore all the tents down. Maybe
yeah, but
like
you can't even
ago.
survive right now in this weather in a tent.
Yeah, that's why they tore the tents down. So they take. So I don't know about Minneapolis. In St. Paul, right where I live off of Mound Street, it's about 20, 25 people live right off the exit in a little tent in the wood area. Last month, they came through and tore all their tents down and, threw all the tents away and all the stuff and kicked them out because it was going to be cold. And I'm glad that they did because, I mean, at 10 below degrees, there's no way you can survive for an hour outside, let alone sleeping outside. You know what I'm saying?
But then they got sued.
Who got sued? The city?
The city for tearing up their stuff. They threw away all their stuff. You know, it might have been junk to the city, but that was their stuff.
That's all they had.
Yeah, they couldn't just come in there and start throwing stuff away. So they got sued.
Man, I mean, that kind of makes sense too. That's just heartless. Like, what would compel you to do some stuff like that? Like, I would have to call off sick that day.
Yeah, but see, it's like, okay, first of all, you're not supposed to be living off the exit of the highway, right? And if you don't have nowhere else to live, I understand. But in Minnesota, it's cold. And these people refuse, like, okay, they just built a brand new Dorothy Day. So it's 2 brand new buildings, not saying like, but I'm just saying it's a lot. Like in St. Paul, we invest a lot into the homeless people. They just got 2 brand new buildings. They got another shelter that just opened up on the east side of St. Paul. So they have places that they want these people to go other than sitting on the side of the road, begging for money.
So let me ask you this question. Do you trust the government?
Not at all.
Okay.
No. I don't trust
there you
go.
So then why would I want to live under their roof and direct, like, because you may say the Dorothy Day Center isn't connected to the government. No, they are directly funded by the government and things like that, and they get a lot of funding. So as a homeless person, especially the ones that don't trust, I'm not going to go to there. A lot of people don't trust that system. I don't know what they're going to do to me. I go there, I get arrested. If I go there, they may try to lock me up. If I go there, they may try to take away my kids. If I go there, they may try to take away this. If I go there, they might try to put me in a mental health institution. So there's a lot of reasons why I'm not messing with y'all. I don't trust y'all. History has shown not to trust you. So why all of a sudden should I? So that's why you have a lot of social workers that are working hard to build that trust, to make them know that, hey, you can trust this program because I'm letting you know you can trust me. But that's why, like, you can show me all of the pretty buildings that you want, but if I don't trust where I'm going, if I don't trust you're putting me into, a lot of the times the only reason you're putting me in these situations is because you want to profit off it. You don't care about my well-being or how I'm actually rehabilitated. So, and I'm saying this obviously from the place of knowing it, I'm trying to say from my situation, like they don't trust. And that's the big thing. You have to build a rapport. You have to build trust. You have to build some type of confidence in what I'm telling you is the truth, right? And a lot of the times, these people don't trust these people. And then again, a lot of these people don't even get the knowledge of these places or how to get into them correctly. Same way why that lady had that's like saying, how come that lady just didn't get childcare? The one that got arrested for her kids being in the car while she was working at the mall. You heard about that one?
No, I didn't hear about that.
It's the same aspect. This lady got arrested because she had to go to work. So her kids, no, were left in the hotel, excuse me, not car. She left her kids in the hotel so she can go to work. But they tried to act like she was doing some abandonment and all this other stuff. She, like, a lot of people don't understand where these resources come from. So she's just trying to make it. So a lot, especially with the homeless people, most of those people have been screwed over by the police. You're telling me I need to trust the same person that just smashed my tent to go live with them? No, I'm cool. No, you didn't. No, I'm cool. No, I'm okay.
Yeah, I never looked at it from a trust point, maybe, but that do make sense.
That's what all of it is.
I didn't know that the lady got arrested. I didn't ever hear about that story. Where was they at? Where was she at?
I forgot where she was at. I can look it up, but basically she just got arrested. I'll look it up right now.
Okay, and the reason why I brought that up, reason why I even stopped you on that one is because today is the first day in St. Paul Public Schools where kids are allowed to go back to school, grades up to 5th grade, right? So about 2 weeks ago, first graders and kindergartners, they let first graders and kindergartners go back to school. Now they let 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders go back to school today. And I was just thinking, like, it's been over a year, literally, since these kids have been to school. My kids haven't been to school. St. Paul Public Schools haven't been open since before Christmas vacation last year. Because after Christmas vacation, the teachers went on strike for about a month or two. And then right after they got off strike, the pandemic struck. So they haven't been to school in well over a year. And it made me think about people who have full-time jobs. So now for over 365 days, you got to find childcare during a pandemic for your kids. And if you're a single parent with 2 children and they're school age, what else are you supposed to do? Can you quit your job? And you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you supposed to do? So in her situation, if she left them in a hotel room, they were safe. Like, what else is she supposed to do?
Right. So it was
everybody not there.
Yeah, so it was Ohio in Youngstown, and she was arrested on the 11th of February.
How old were
she left her 10-year-old and her 2-year-old in a motel room while she worked her shift at a pizza shop. A tip to the police led to officers to a Motel 6 in Youngstown at about 6:15 p.m. on Thursday night. The 10-year-old explained that her mom was working and would be home at 10 p.m. The officers went to the pizza shop and blah, blah, blah. But yeah. But also
old enough.
QP, or what's that dude's name?
QC?
Hold on a second. There you go. QC. He offers to help the woman. Yeah. So he's helping that woman out, making sure she gets okay. So he's doing what he can do to assist her with anything she needs, I guess, with lawyer fees and getting her out of jail and everything like that. So, because everybody has that story of their mom having like all these rappers and stuff, they was literally all talking about like how they all grew up and their mom had to leave them at home so they can go to work and things of that nature. A lot of these young Black kids are talking about, well, my mom had to leave me when I was young to go work to make ends meet. She couldn't afford for daycare. She can't afford $200-300 a month, and the programs has a long list, or she doesn't even know where to start to get these programs. So if you don't know where to get these programs and you're just working, then you don't have the resources. Everybody doesn't have a social worker. These social workers are overworked. So everybody doesn't have the ability to get somebody to help them out. But that's all I was saying with the connection with the homeless and the tents and stuff like that. It's like all these people are in the same situation. Like they just need help and they don't know where to get it. And a lot of these Republicans, the GOP, think that they should just pull themselves up by the bootstrap when, lo and behold, the GOP have the more percentage of people on welfare than anybody in the world, mostly these red states. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Republicans are the ones that are using the most welfare, but yet they're the ones talking about we need to stop using this welfare. But they benefit off of the Democrats and their lobby, which is the weirdest thing in the world. So you got all these broke rednecks that are using welfare. And when you talk about welfare, you're talking about more than just food stamp. That's that donut that your grandma got when she hurt her back or whatever, so she can sit down or whatever the case may be, or that walker that they're help paying for, the supplemented medical insurance or whatever the case may be. That's all welfare. but
Social Security,
farm subsidies.
Yeah, but they just think, welfare is food stamps. But, shout out to them.
I need some food stamps right now. I definitely could use a couple food stamps.
I'm okay. But, shout out to them. I was eating
They don't
lobster
even,
mac the other
the
day.
food stamps ain't even stamps anymore.
No,
it's
it's
a card.
Yeah.
So anybody could be using them and nobody even know.
Unless you're standing there being nosy.
It used to be a time where you had to actually pull out the food stamps and go up and pay the cashier with the stamps. Well, now you putting the card in the machine just like everybody else.
Everybody else.
Yeah, so they don't know. So you don't know who's using food stamps. It could be anybody. White, black, green, purple, they all using them.
Yeah, but
now they call them snaps.
If you take half the white people that are on welfare right now, 50% of the world, 50% of them, and take them off of welfare, white people still have the highest percent on welfare. Now the percentage of black people on welfare is the highest, but the amount of white people on welfare is the highest. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's more black people percentage-wise on welfare, but the actual amount of white people on welfare is far beyond anybody.
Oh, I know. It's a lot. It's a lot. That's a lot. I know from just working there.
Yeah, and you could tell that by when you have to apply, you got to go out to the suburb counties nowadays. The only place you can go in St. Paul was the only place for black people. Everywhere else is out in Stillwater, it's out in, Eden Prairie, out there, way out there. There ain't no black people out there. Them is all white people. They don't have to come into St. Paul to apply no more. They can apply right there in their neighborhood.
All right, let's get into the topic of episode 6 is love. Valentine's Day just passed this week, and it's the week of love. I love Black History Month because we get to celebrate Black history and love in the same month. Now, I'm not really a fan of holidays at all, but I thought it'd be a good topic for us to talk about, right? So let's talk about Valentine's Day. I want to know.
I appreciate you saying Valentine's Day, by the way, not times. Thank you.
Valentine's Day. Okay.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk about the word love and how it affects them. We're 3 Black women all in different situations. So I'm pretty sure we all have a different perspective on love and what love is. So let's start with something light, though. I want to know, what is the best gift that you ever received for Valentine's Day? And what's the best gift you ever gave for Valentine's Day? So we can start with that. I really want to know what Dad's going to say. So Dad, what's the best gift you got and what's the best gift you gave?
I don't know. You're talking about a lot of years. I'm trying to remember. I can't hardly remember.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you, because you and Mom been married like 30, 40
after
years.
So long, your mom decided to, instead of getting, she wanted to give. So she turned Valentine's Day into a giving day for single mothers and single women. So we would give flowers to other women, give flowers to single people, to celebrate single people that don't have anybody else to give with them. So we dedicated the whole church to, Valentine's Day is now a holiday, a celebration for other people. So I say that's the most we ever gave to other people, but it wasn't for her, it was for other people. Because what happened was I was giving her flowers. I give her a dozen flowers, and then I turn around and she's giving them away. And I'm like, wait. I just gave you them flowers. She's like, well, this person doesn't have anything, and this person doesn't have anything. And so I just said, well, we might as well make it a whole thing then, and just automatically give everybody else. So that's what kind of happened to Valentine's Day. So for years we did that. So I kind of forgot what we were doing on Valentine's Day. I don't remember. So I don't really remember.
Actually, I remember that too. That's kind of dope. I remember. I remember y'all doing that in the church. Okay, Reggie, what's the best Valentine's Day present you ever gave anybody that you thought?
Okay, so mine's is one and the same. So the gift that I got and the best gift that I ever got and the best gift that I ever gave was all one and the same. So it was when we exchanged love. So we acknowledged love for the first time, right? Because I don't like playing around with that word. I'm not gonna tell you I love you. I don't, you know me. I don't play around with that word. I'll say I like you. I say you're cool. I'll say everything else but love. But the best gift that I ever gave and the best gift that I ever got was us exchanging the acknowledgement of the love for each other. So that's what mine was last year.
Oh,
so for me, like
sweet.
that, and it happened at the same time. It happened organically. We literally did it the same way. So for me, that was probably the best gift because I can buy whatever, I get whatever. I gave her some Louis this year. She gave me some exclusive sneakers. I got this crazy book, by the way. I don't know if you can see it, but you really can't.
I see your outline on the book though.
Yeah, but anyways, it literally is me in a book. But like, there's dope stuff that I got. But I think the best gift that I ever gave and the best gift that I ever received was actually the exchange of love. So it may sound corny, it may sound whatever, but that was probably the best one for Valentine's Day, was acknowledging that I love you, you love me. And we did it together. It was organic, it wasn't forced. And it was built off of a foundation of actually getting to that point. It wasn't just a spur of the moment. I felt it. It was more of the, like, this is real. Like,
that's dope. I don't know. I can't even answer that to you. I was thinking about it. I was really thinking about like the best Valentine's gift I ever got was probably like a ring, maybe. I don't know, some jewelry.
Jewelry?
Yeah, some jewelry. And the best gift I ever gave was probably some jewelry. Like Valentine's Day is just like, I don't know, me and my wife been together almost not as long as you and mom, dad, but I've been with the same person since for 18, 19 years now. So like we done did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but yeah, Valentine's every day. So
right.
Well, I know the best gift I ever gave. I don't know if it was actually on Valentine's Day that she gave it to me, but I got she bought me a giant card, and I was at work. So when I got off work, I went out to my car. My car was parked in the front. She had this giant card sitting on the car, saying that I love you card. And she had balloons attached to it. And I got a watch, my favorite watch I ever had in my life. I never had another one like it. And I don't think I'll find another one like it. But it was a watch that I like the chimes. It didn't just ching, it kind of chimed. Ding dong, ding dong. Dong, ding, ding, dong, every half hour. So I would go into meetings, and everybody else is watching me going chime, chime, and mine would go off. Ding dong, ding dong.
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I remember I got that. I don't know if that was on Valentine's Day or not, but that was the best gift I ever got. So I'll never forget that. And then it just fell apart, and I put it in the shop to get fixed, and they never gave it back to me. They said that the hands fell off of it or something, but I never got it back.
So speaking of love, Valentine's Day, the best gifts, we got that. But it also made me think about love in general, what our definition of love is, what motivates us to love as human beings, what is love, what separates us from the animals, what does God say about love? What does the Bible say about love? That's, what is the definition of love? How do you define it? Is it something you do, a feeling, a saying? Like, what's the definition of love? Are you serious?
I don't know if you can, because the love is different to everybody else. And people define love and they see love in different areas in their life. So it's hard to have a definition. And that's where it's weird for me. And when you sent that earlier, I was thinking about it, and I could have looked up some Webster's definition and then looked up what love is described in the Bible and things of that nature. But if you don't recognize love the same way that somebody else recognizes love, then it means nothing. So for me to give you a definition of what love is, it could be tangible for somebody else, but another one could be strictly a feeling, or it could be a feeling that someone makes you feel, or a feeling that you give out to somebody. Like there's just a lot of different variations of love. And even with that love language stuff, like I see love with gifts, or I see love with actions, or I see love with words, or things like that. It's different. Like consideration and the thought process. Like if I'm sitting there and I know my girl is hungry, I can be like, yo, come on, let's go. Where are we going? Get something to eat. How you know? Don't worry about it. Come on. Like to her, that might be love because I just know her. I've taken the time to understand her and to know what she likes and dislikes and what different things mean different things. If I know that it's 1 p.m. and she hasn't eaten since 10, somebody about to get cut if she don't eat quickly or something. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it just depends on what you consider love. So like for me, it's more of an understanding of the other person's. Like for me, love is understanding. Truly, like it's not about a feeling per se, because feeling can be fickle. One day you could be high, one day you could be low. But if I'm upset at you, but I'm still making sure you eat, come on, you getting on my nerves, but come on. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, to me, it's about understanding and like putting them before you at some points, but then sometimes it's putting yourself before them. Like it's weird because love isn't about pure sacrifice. Love isn't about being God, Jesus on the cross. Like I don't believe that. I don't believe love is long suffering. I don't believe love is hurt. I don't believe love is that type of aspect. I believe love is something that comes from understanding someone. And that's why they say like love lasts long, because you understand someone more than they acknowledge, or that you can acknowledge. Like when you really know somebody and you feel like you know somebody, that brings love because you feel that comfort. So it could just be a lot of different things.
Dad, what you think?
Well, love is there's 4 kinds of love. I'm talking, I from the Bible, from what we learned from the Bible, we used to teach about this kind of stuff in the Bible. But you got 4 definitions. There's storge, which means an empathy or a bond kind of love. There's philia, which is a friendship. That's where you get the word Philadelphia. It comes from philia, which is a friendship kind of love. Then there's eros, which is a romantic love, where you get erotic, where you get all those different words. That's an area of love. And then there's agape, which is God's love, unconditional love. So most of the time, people talk about love, they think they talk about eros, or they talk about sorge or philo. They're not. Very few people talk about agape because they don't know what agape is. You can't know agape love unless you know God. God is love, so you can't have it, you can't experience it, you can't say it if you don't know God personally. So unconditional love. That's what love. That's a decision type of love. So after that's why a lot of marriages don't work, because the storge, the friendship, the empathy, and the romance eventually will wear down in a relationship. It'll wear out after years and years and years. So you have to fall back on agape. If you don't fall back on unconditional love, then that relationship is not going to last. Because I'll tell you what the Bible says about agape. It says for agape is love endures long and is patient, kind. Love never is envious nor boils over with jealousy, is not boastful or vainglorious, does not display itself haughtily. It is not conceited, arrogant, and inflated with pride. It is not rude, unmannerly, and does not act unbecomingly. Love, God's love in us, does not insist on its own rights or its own way, for it is not self-seeking. It is not touchy or fretful or resentful. It takes no account of the evil done to it, and it pays no attention to a suffered wrong. It does not rejoice at injustice and unrighteousness, but rejoices when right and truth prevail. Now that's the true God kind of love, so that's the only kind of love that's going to last. All the other, the eros love, the romantic love, without eros, you'll never find nobody to agape. I'll tell you that right now, especially a man, because without that eros, without that attraction, that sexual or sensual attraction, most men don't, if God didn't put that in us to be sexually attracted to women, we would never reproduce. There wouldn't be no babies. You wouldn't have no, because you'd be like, I ain't, you don't do nothing for me. You can walk around looking all you want to look, but if I ain't attracted sexually, then you could just walk on by and just step on it, keep on stepping on. But God put that in us because He knew without that we had to reproduce. So God had a purpose for it. He wanted us to reproduce, multiply, replenish the earth, to reproduce. So without having sex, you can't reproduce. That's why, his invention for that had a purpose, was to reproduce. And after a certain period of time, he's like, okay, you've been done enough reproducing, let's cut it off. So everybody, you have women that go through menopause or whatever, men go through impotency. They usually happens about the same time. If they stay together long enough, she'll stop having babies and you'll start wanting to make babies at the same time. So that's why that kind of love don't last. You have to get past that. That's where you have to go to agape, because after a while, you'll start noticing things you didn't notice before. Did you always breathe like that, going in and out and in and out? It's just, you getting on my nerves. Did your hair fall out or what's happening?
Oh Lord.
So that's going to happen after a while. But you have to switch over to that agape. You have to switch over to a different kind of love, that where you don't pay attention to anything suffer wrong. You're not worried about your own self-satisfaction and selfishness. You're worried about what that other person is going through. And if that other person is doing the same thing, then it just clicks and you'll keep going on and on and on and on. That's why divorces are so commonplace now, because everybody's looking for eros, romance all the time. That's why they invented Valentine's Day, because they'll give one day a year at least where a man is supposed to be romantic to a woman. One day where he has to, it's on a calendar. You can't mess it up. Every time you go in the stores, just you're reminded that one day where you have to remind yourself that I need to be romantic, because that's what a woman is going to need. She needs that romance. She needs that eros. She needs that, that touch, that attraction, where a man after a while, he just don't care about it. So they invented a day for it to keep a man abreast. Okay, you're supposed to do this. Give her some flowers, take her out to dinner, be romantic, because Valentine's Day really ain't about the man. I don't know where that came from. Men getting stuff on Valentine's Day. That was never the intention, because men, they don't want that anyway. All they want is sex.
Give Speak for yourself.
Sex.
You ain't speaking for
sex.
me.
Then
you can have that.
Different. You don't like sex.
Hey, look, that. Right.
That ain't my drive. That ain't my drive. So I'm sorry. I'm built different.
You
I guess.
All them flowers. Keep all that chocolate. Just give me some booty.
I don't want. Nope. That ain't nope. You can't manipulate me with that. You're gonna be one. You're gonna be one loof looking woman. I'll tell you that. You're gonna be looking goofy. You can't manipulate me with sex. I'm sorry. That ain't gonna work. I'm not that dude.
So that's how men are built. That's how we're built. That's how we're created like that, from Adam and Eve. That was a punishment from the garden, that the woman had to have a baby, but in order for the woman to have a baby, Adam had to be attracted to her. The first thing Adam did after he bit the apple, after they bit the fruit, it wasn't an apple, after he bit the fruit and he began to have the difference between good and evil, the first thing he said was, "Ooh, she looking good over there. You better put some clothes on." The first thing she did was want to put some clothes on, so they had to cover each other up so that they wouldn't just jump on each other right away. So that's been from day one, but that's not from God either, because that's what that's part of the devil put that in the world, the lust part. That's from the devil, because that's in the Bible too. It says all that is in the world, the only thing that comes from the world is the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. That's the only thing that's in this world system, that drives this world system. One of those three things: the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, or the pride of life. And that's it. Everything else is love. Love doesn't have anything. You see anything about the lust when I was reading what love is. It has nothing to do with lust.
And that's 1 Corinthians 13, just for anybody want to try to fact check. 1 Corinthians 13.
Lord.
13, 4 through 6.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, because lust is different than romantic attraction. When you're attracted to your woman or you're attracted to lust is different. That means you're desiring something that you can't really have, so you lust for it because you can't really have it. So
let me ask you,
different.
Are you serious? Let me bring this. You bring this up. Let me ask you this. I kind of know your answer right now, but it's a myth or it's a statement that says, men can't have women or be around women that they're not attracted to, right? Or, men can't have female friends. And actually, my best friends in the whole world are female. And I got friends that are female that I've never even had a sexual thought of. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even, like, Sadari, that's my homie. I never even ever had any kind of, not saying she's ugly or she's not attractive. She's very beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying our relationship has just strictly been friendship from day one. So let me ask you, is it possible, in my life it's possible, but is it possible for a man to love a woman without ever lusting after her?
Yes. That's easy. Yes.
Do you think that's possible?
Yes.
I think you can get into that, but you're not going to talk to her first unless there was an attraction. Something attracted you to that person that you wanted to have a conversation in the first place. Otherwise, if it's a woman that's looking all ugly and beat down, you ain't going to want to have a conversation with her in the first place.
No, that's not true.
You're not going to walk up to some bum on the street and say, "I just want to talk to you," because your mind looks like it's something I'm interested in. Your mind. I'm interested in your mind, not your.
Well, that's different than what you're saying, though, Pops. Like, you're talking about approaching a woman, opposed to a situation in which you're actually just having a conversation. So there's few situations.
Talking about once you approach her, then you might find out that there's a friendship attraction, and you just become friends.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
every situation doesn't have
approach. So, for example, when you met your best friend that was a male, that you'd be like, he look good.
Male.
Let me go approach him. So, like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not based off an approach. There could be situations in which you might just have a casual conversation, maybe at work or a function, and you guys are getting to know each other.
Then
you're forced
together.
Else.
You're forced together if you're at work.
Yeah, I don't think Dad.
But not even work.
I don't think Dad is talking about what you're talking about, right?
Right,
so I understand what you're saying in a situation where, okay, I'll give you an example. Like Sadari, right? That's my best friend. I met her because I talked to her because she was black and we was in school. She was one of the only black people I've seen. But now, as far as like, I'm on the street and you see a girl that you want to, if you see a girl and you attracted to her, you're going to approach her, right? Whether or not the situation made you approach her or not. If you attracted to her, you're going to go holler at her. Now, if you see somebody and you're not attracted to her, you don't have a reason to go talk to her unless you're put in a situation where you at work or things like that. That's what I think that is.
Where you're forced together, where you're, you're in a box, so you have to talk.
Yeah, but the question was based off of, can a man and a woman be friends? You're talking about an approaching.
No,
like,
I said you could be
different.
you could be friends. Friendship develops, but can't develop until you first have a conversation.
Right. But then there's situations, and that's what I'm trying to say. But every situation with a woman isn't about approaching her to get to know her based off of her attraction, though. And that's why I said, like, there's situations in which you meet somebody that you're not basically, hey, you look good, I want to talk to you. Like, that's not
okay. Let me
every woman and male meet.
If you were to, how would you approach somebody then? You know what I mean? Like,
if you're talking about, that's
why would you approach somebody?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, though. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. You're trying to perpetrate as if every interaction with a girl is based off of me pursuing her.
Not ever.
No.
Not ever.
Well, then that's what I'm saying.
Said.
So
I'm
then
saying
you
is,
have to
if there's not a reason to have a conversation in the first place, you have to have a reason to have a conversation. Either you're working together, you're forced together, you're in a classroom, where you're forced to talk to them. But if neither one of those are there, it's because you saw something that you felt like you wanted to talk to.
I'll give you an example.
It was a visual.
I'll give you an example. I'm in the club. Club surrounding. I'm in the club, right? Sitting here chilling. Boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop. And then somebody standing next to me, a girl. If I see something happening on the dance floor and I go look over her and start talking to her, like, yo, man, you see that? That's crazy, or something happens. I'm not talking to her because I was attracted to her or because she was looking good or for any other reason. There was something that I saw and I was like, oh, you see this? And then we can have, my first initial thought when I talk to a woman isn't, I want to get with her. My first initial thought is, who are you? I don't know who you are. Who are you? What do you want from me? That's my first initial thought. Or what are we talking about here? Or what are we, ha ha ha, he. But it's never initially, yo, I want to, what's up? How can we?
Let me ask you this then. Can you lust for a woman and then after you lust for her and she put you in the friend zone, can you still be friends?
Well, of course. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, the sex thing is always going to be there.
Yes, you can. And the reason why I say that is because
the only reason that you can is because she won't let you. And that's the only reason that it stays friendship, because she don't let it go any further. But if you ever got a choice, ever gave a chance, that opportunity came up somewhere down the line.
You don't. Okay. So this is what I'll say. You don't want to put yourself in that situation, no.
Right.
But you can't say that it can never, because you can never say never, right?
Nope, you can't say never.
Right. So that's all I'm saying. So when you ask me a question like, can you? Yes. Can you? Yes. Can that happen? Do I prefer it? Do you suggest it? No, you should not. But once again, you have to also ask the question, do you trust the person that you're with? Because if you're basing it off of somebody else, I have to trust the person that I'm with. So I don't base my trust in somebody else. They have no allegiance to me. So if my woman has a friend that's a male, I trust her that she's not going to do anything nefarious or anything crazy that would disrespect the relationship. I'm not basing my trust off of trusting this man not trying to hit on my woman. You can never trust somebody else, especially if they have no allegiance to you. You don't know them, they don't know you. So why should they be like, nah, I can't do that to Reg? That makes no sense. But if you can trust,
even best friends, you can't trust them. You can only trust your spouse.
But if you trust the person that you're with and you trust their actions, but that's in general. If you trust the person, if they go against it, that doesn't mean that you had bad trust. You just trusted in them. So I am basing my trust off the individual, not the person that I'm with, not the individual that they're friends with. That's what I'm trusting it off of. If they tell me we're just friends, then I have to trust that they're just friends. If they show me something different, then they show me something different. But it's not my job to sit there and now not trust the person that I say that I love on their word, because then you don't have the trust and then you don't have the love. So that's why I say that if my girl tells me she has a male friend, then I'm going to trust that that's a male friend. Now, if she does something outside of that box, that's on her, not on me. So therefore, for me, I don't have an issue with the girl that I'm with to have a male friend, Because if she does something messed up, that's her fault. That's her problem. It's not, oh, Reggie, how could you? That has nothing to do with me. That's based off of her and him doing something they shouldn't do, but I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about her. So for me, if a girl tells me that I am with, that she has a male friend, I don't have an issue. I never will have an issue until they show me something where I have to say, okay, this is an issue. But if you can't sit there and say, if you can't be in love with somebody and say you love them and then you don't trust them, because those two things don't go together. Those two things don't even go together. They don't
trust the person that you want, but you got to put the other person in check. You got to let them know, nah, you can't do that.
But if you trust the person that you're with, they wouldn't allow that other person to do anything. And that's what I'm saying. Then you really don't trust that other.
We're talking about men. Men will do some dog stuff when they don't care who they with.
Right, but they can't do anything if your girl doesn't allow her. They can't
that's
do.
True.
They can't do anything that
physically
your girl will allow.
anything. They can't physically do anything, but they can do some stuff that you know.
Right, but your girl
they're doing it. You know why they're doing it.
Right.
You got to put them in check.
And that's why I say I trust my girl. So if my girl has a male friend and he's doing some goofy stuff, if she allows that to happen, that's on her. If she doesn't cut that off, I shouldn't have to come and cut that off. I shouldn't have to come and check that. If she doesn't come check that, that's on her.
Well, a lot of times
I have an issue.
She might be naive, not knowing.
Right, you might have.
A lot of times, women are just naive. They don't know. They don't really believe half the stuff that you would believe a man would do.
Yeah. Get to know my girl. Trust me, she don't play. So once again, that's why I say I trust, and that's why I don't use that love thing very light. They know. They can play like they don't know, but they know. And you can have that conversation with them if something happens. But to act as if your girl is some naive, some girl that doesn't know, good well mom knows what's up. If you think something's going to slide by mom in any way, shape, or form,
let me ask you
your mom was very naive. Very.
Yeah, mom
was and is now.
Dad had to trust mom a lot because mom would just pick anybody up off the street.
Right.
And give them
picking people up, giving them money, dropping them off, buying them stuff.
But again,
she just being nice.
Again, what are you worried about though? Are you worried about mom doing something?
No, I'm worried about her being taken advantage of.
But once again, you're talking about friends and lust that we're not talking about taking advantage of with money or things of that nature. We're talking about this whole situation of can they be friends or can they be in love or can the dude not love them? So what you have to do is, for me, I have to trust the judgment of the woman that I'm with. I have to. There's no other way around it.
You ain't got no choice. You got to. But see, you can't trust the man at all because even your homies are trying.
I'm not worried about the man. I'm not worried about the man. I could care less what that dude does. I'm worried about what did you say? I don't care about what they did. What did you do?
Let me put this in perspective though. Because see, at some point you can feel how you feel, right? Which is I don't care about the dude. But
I don't.
To me as a man, that other dude, it's a level of respect. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you might have to check homie because you need your respect. And respect, see, you gotta respect, like he said, you can earn it or you could demand it. Right? That's what Dad said. You could earn your respect or demand the respect. So I understand what you're saying, right? Because you gotta trust I gotta trust my wife to not.
So you're telling me if there's a situation in which you gotta check a man that your woman wouldn't check him before you would?
What you mean?
If a man does something so disrespectful where you said you got to go check him, my girl would check him before I even get to it. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like if he tries to do any shady stuff, she would check it.
You're
I know the relationship I'm in now. I'm not talking about the relationships previous. I know who I'm with. I'm just saying,
we're not talking. Okay, so let me give you an example, right? Because everybody is different, right? So everybody
and that's all I'm saying.
Everybody different. Everybody got their own way to go. So if you feel like that with your girl, but let's say,
give me an example.
Have you ever been the homie that was plotting not on your friend's girl. We're not talking about your friends or nothing. So have you ever been the dude that was plotting on a girl that tried to friend zone you?
Sure.
Have you ever been that guy where she trying to put you in a friend zone, but you still trying to get at it? Yes. And like Dad said, at any moment in time, if she give you the green light, it's on and popping. Yes. Right? So now you being that guy, you got to be a little slicker because you still trying to stick around. You don't want to do nothing to push her away. You still want her close, even though she telling you no. You still trying to, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's all good. Let's just go do this, do that. You still trying to maneuver. So what Dad is saying, what I think is that sometimes the woman has already checked homie. She's already established a clear boundary. I got a man. Me and you was just friends. We just work together. You funny, so I like hanging around with you. But the dude still might be plotting anyway, and still trying to get at it. So as a man, if I peep homie and I peep his moves, and my wife thinking already that she done checked him, but I'm peeping and I'm like, nah, you checked him, but he ain't just hanging around for no reason. As a man, sometimes. Then that's when I would feel like I'm being disrespected by the other dude.
Okay, so can I give an example? So based off of that exact example, if I'm the dude and I'm in the friend zone, but I'm still pushing the line, trying to wait for that moment, there are things that I would do to test the line. Right. There are things that I would say, and there are things that I would do to test the line. If she doesn't check me, if she doesn't say, nah, this ain't gonna happen, you know what? We can't be friends because obviously you don't know what that means. That's on her. She's doing that. She knows. And that's what I'm trying to say. So in that exact situation. She might not know though. You think she knows. Once again, listen, in that exact situation, she will say no because we're just friends. She will literally say those words. And you've heard those words if you've been in those situations. She will repeatedly say, no, we're just friends. If she has to keep saying that, then you're good because you know she really doesn't want you to stop because she would have cut you off by then. And you know that. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
If you I never even let it get that far.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Because your mom, she was in a different situation because she's just ministry and helping people. So I'll give you an example. Right. This guy, he's supposed to be gay. Okay. But every time you looked around, your mom, she was giving him a ride to this church or giving him a ride to that church, or we picking him up. I've even picked him up a couple of times, going to that church and that church. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, we ain't giving no more rides because, to me, he was just a user. That's all he did was use, and he went from different women and just befriended them and just used them for rides or to take him places. Every time I looked around, he was someplace somebody was giving him a ride. And so I cut it off. I'm like, nah, you ain't getting no more rides. You can't give him no more rides. And don't even take no more of his phone calls because I think he's a user. Not because of anything sexual. He's supposed to be gay, but because he was a user, I wasn't gonna let him use her. So for me, I had to block a lot of users, not, because she would make sure that she would block any sexual things, like that. But she was naive to the fact that she might have been being used, or they might be, because especially people on the street, they're going to use you all the time. If they get a chance, they'll use you for up to the nth degree. But my job was to block that stuff. I'm not going to let you just use my wife.
Right. No, and I get that.
Let that happen.
And I get that example, but that example isn't what we're referring to as in sexually pursuit or sexually trying to hit.
Well,
that example is about him being a user.
I'll give you an example of that. When we first met, this is part of the love thing. What was the most stupid thing you ever did for love? When I first met your mom, she had her own question. She had her own apartment. She was, she was young. She was only like 16. But she had her own apartment. And so I was pursuing, I'm like, I'm in pursuit. I want her, I want to have her. So, but she had this friend. He was a friend, supposedly a friend. but he was always around, always there, always, running off at the mouth. But I ain't never seen him bring no women with him. And so I had a job where I worked, I had to be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning. My job, sitting around trying to wait for this fool to go home, and he waiting for me to go home, but she didn't know, she didn't think anything about it, like sexually or nothing. But I knew, I'm like, this man is waiting around too long. Why is he act like I'm invading his territory and I'm moving in? So we sending each other out. So I lost a job. Good job at this, working for the state of Minnesota. I was making good money, working for the plow trucks.
So wait. So Posa actually
out.
having the conversation with mom directly about this dude. You lost your job?
Yeah. I lost my job. I didn't care. I'm like, okay.
You could have easily been like, yo, what's up with him? What's the situation?
Oh, she knew they were just friends. They had been friends for years. They had never had any sexual contact, never had anything sexual. But I was like, well, that was before you met me. Now I'm here. He can't. I ain't his friend, so he got to go. So that's the way I looked at it. Like, he got to go. So, but it came down to the point where he was just hanging around too much. But he wanted to pick who he wanted her to have. That's what I found out. So he would bring people around with him for her instead of me. But it never happened. I'm like, no, it ain't gonna happen. So I made sure I was there all the time. I ain't going nowhere.
So again, that was just a platonic friend, though. You just gave us an example of. I'm talking about a dude that actually tried to holler, and mom didn't do nothing. I don't believe like there's an example of that.
Once she knew, if she knew something like that was going on, she wouldn't. She would have blocked that.
That's all I'm saying.
But I never let it go that far. I'm like, we gonna block it right here. We gonna put a stop to it even before it get that far.
But that's what all I'm saying was you got to trust the girl that you're with, and that's why I gave the example that Aaron. That's why I use that example of if I'm the dude that's trying to push that line, I'm going to do certain things to push that line. Once that line gets pushed, and she doesn't reject me or tell me we can't talk no more, then that's on her. And that's what she did. So that's why I personally have to just say, I have to trust her. She either goes or she doesn't. But for me to try to step in and regulate it for her, I don't think is needed because she knows what she's doing. Because what you're doing now is you're stepping in the place where she should. You're doing the things that she should do.
At that time, there was no reason because I wasn't her man.
Well, then I didn't
have no reason. I was still there. I'm trying to take, I'm trying to move on. Take the territory.
Well, that's not the conversation. Y'all keep moving the needle. We gonna have to stay online. Y'all keep moving the needle. Y'all give me examples that ain't the example. He just gave a situation where he wasn't even the girl. That wasn't even his girl yet. You can't say nothing about who she hanging out with if you ain't even the man yet.
Yes, you can. What?
You ain't even her man.
You too progressive.
What you mean?
We got to slow down. We got to go caveman a little bit here.
What are you talking about?
But if I had not have done the things that I was doing, I wouldn't be the man today.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. That's all I'm saying. We're talking about if you're in a relationship already and your girl has a friend. We're not talking about something where you really don't even have no claim to, and you're trying to make your move and push other dudes out the way. That's why I said y'all keep moving the needle.
I'm gonna tell you like this, right? The longer you're in a relationship, your girl probably not gonna end up with no friends. After about 10, 15 years, y'all ain't gonna have no friends. Your girl ain't gonna have all the homeboys that you so nice to. The boys gonna move on to their own relationship.
But that naturally moves away because you're being respectful.
Yeah, let me ask you this. What is the craziest thing that you ever did out of love or for love? What's the craziest thing you ever did?
Okay, so you know me, right? You know I ain't gonna put myself out like that. Get out of here. Nothing. Now, what you got, Pops?
You ain't dad already said he lost his job.
You think I'm gonna put myself out? I'm not putting myself out for nothing. You got me crazy.
I don't know what the craziest thing is of it. I'll tell y'all the story though. Actually, it's a good example of what we're going through right now, right? So I'm with my wife.
Y'all
right?
moving the needle?
No, I'm with my wife, and I was at church. I was at church one Sunday, and she was at my crib, right? And I had a home girl call the crib. Now this is just one of them. This one of them mutual platonic friends, right? That we were just talking about, right? Plutonic. I don't know how to say it. Platonic.
Platonic. There you
Platonic. Go. Okay. So this is just a homegirl, right? We never hugged, kissed, none of that. We wasn't pursuing and none of that. I don't even know how we became friends. I think just from knowing people, right? So she just a homie. So I don't know. Maybe she was pursuing me and I didn't know. Maybe I was being naive. I didn't know. So I'm at church. I get home from church. Trish like, who is such and such? I ain't even gonna say the girl name. I'm like, that's my homegirl. What's up? Where she live at? I'm like, what you mean where she live at? Where she live at? I wanna know where she live at. She calling talking crazy. So now I gotta choose between my girl and my homegirl, right? So now I'm trying to figure out what happened. And y'all know how Trisha is. There ain't no she baby Taz right now. So I really can't even figure out what's going on. So she like, where she at? I want to know where she at right now. Where does she live? So I'm like, all right, let's just go over her house and figure this out, right? So I'm thinking, because that's just my homegirl and this my girl, I'm thinking we just gonna go over there and figure things out. So we get over to the girl's house. As soon as we get over to the girl's house, Trisha jump out the car with a gun, go up in the girl's house and start
Allegedly.
shooting.
Allegedly.
Yeah, alleged. But hold on, wait.
Just say
So
allegedly one more time, please. I'm dead serious.
Let me finish the story.
All right.
So she get the gun. She go in the girl's house, right?
Allegedly.
It's not even a gun. It's a BB gun. I thought it was a real gun at first, but it's allegedly a BB gun.
Allegedly.
She go in the girl house. The girl grandma at the door. She like, where that BB? Bring her out. Boo, boo, boo. So the girl grandma at the door. The girl upstairs. It's like one of them split levels. You know what I'm saying? So it's upstairs and downstairs. So the girl at the top of the stairs talking stuff. I'm at the door trying to hold Trisha back. Trisha got the thing. She's shooting at the girl, allegedly, with the BB gun in the house, all because the girl called my phone on a Sunday and I wasn't there. And the girl didn't want nothing. I think what happened was Trisha got smart, she got smart, then they both started getting smart. And so the craziest thing I ever did was almost catch a murder charge. Because they called the police. The police traced me back to my crib. They raided my crib. They didn't find Trish though, because I had stashed her somewhere. Yeah, they went back to the police came to the crib, they raided the crib. They found the plastic casing for the BB gun. So they realized that it was a BB gun, not a real gun. And yeah, the whole story went away. But yeah, that's probably the craziest thing that happened. All trying to just, make my girl happy.
Oh Lord.
And almost, let me ask you this. When is the first time you felt like you were in love? When was the first time? You ain't got to say who or when, just what made you feel like you was in love for the first time?
I was in second grade. I was in love.
Second grade.
Her name, I know her name. I ain't gonna say her name, but yeah, I was in second grade. She was it. That was it. She could beat me running. That's really what got me. She outran me. She was tougher than me. I'm like, I'm in love with this girl. She is tough. She is bad. And she good looking. So yeah, I was in second grade. That was it. After that, it was your mama.
Dad fell in love with Baby D from next Friday.
Oh Lord.
All right, are you serious? Can you remember the first time?
Yeah, when I felt nauseous. I was like older, so I was like 18, 19. We already know who she is, but yeah, I was literally sick to my stomach.
Literally. Throwing up.
Throwing up. Literally. Ulcer. Literally.
Dang.
So yeah, that's when I knew I was in love, because I couldn't function.
Wow.
I couldn't function.
Yeah,
I couldn't function. I couldn't act right. I didn't know what was going on. I had expectations of the world. It was unrealistic expectations for the age that I was at for somebody else. And it was a representation of what I saw in mom and dad. But I had those expectations for somebody that was not there, or we weren't even there. So I had an idea, and that's, I guess, for me, that was something that I had to learn the hard way. Is I had marriage expectations for a young boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, and it was too much, and it wasn't fair, and it wasn't right.
I thought he was allergic to the girl. I'm like, every time you go around there, you come home with stomach ache,
sick, thrown up.
Like, you need to stay away from them.
But it was just, that's the only way my body knew how to react, because it didn't know what it was doing. So like I was literally just sick all the time. Like every time I went over there, it was just a natural thing. I just get sick. And it was just because I was just so overwhelmed. Like I didn't know how to act or what to do, what to say. But we all knew who it was. But yeah, it's like that was the first time. But I understood, me personally, that it was an issue. And it wasn't fair. It wasn't what I should have been. It wasn't fair for the relationship. And it wasn't fair for what I was doing because of that. It just wasn't.
I never knew that. I never knew that.
So I was.
That's crazy.
The pops now. Yeah, I was literally.
Yeah, dad was there.
I was literally sick. Literally.
Yeah, see, I was blessed because the first adult love that I had, I actually wound up with. Married her, been with her for over 40 years. So that usually never happens. You know, as a grown up. But yeah, first person I fell in love with. That's why I said I wasn't going nowhere. I just gave up job. I gave up everything. You know, I was like, I ain't going.
Stalking.
He ain't going. Yep, stalking. You know, I'd sit out there and just watch from a block away. Watch who's coming in, who's going out, sizing them up, seeing what the competition looked like. You know, and I knew how to do it. You know, first thing in the morning, I was there taking her to school, picking her up from school. So I won mine. So I'm like, that's mine. I'm gonna have this one. And I got her, and I kept her, and I still got her.
Yeah, I can see Dad right now sitting in the car with his gun, like, nah, he ain't worth. Nah, that ain't the dude.
I didn't need no gun because I knew most of them. I'm like, yeah, they ain't no good. I know who they are. I know what they're about. So yeah.
For me, the first time I fell in love, I was grown.
Nah.
I was grown. Cause see, I got girlfriends, right? I had girlfriends I was on the phone with all night. But I really wouldn't say I was in love because...
Okay, so I felt you was in love with the private school.
Who, Dina?
I mean, you didn't have to say a name, but I mean, that's cool. I just said private school, and you the one that filled in the rest. But that's what I felt like you was in love. But that's just personally me. The first?
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe
I'll say
so.
first.
I wouldn't say that though. I would say that's the first time my heart was broken.
You gotta be in love to have it broken.
Maybe that was then the first time I was in love. But I wouldn't say I was in love. You know what I'm saying? I just say I was in love with the fact that somebody liked me. You know what I'm saying? Because she wasn't even that attractive. Like she was black.
Physical attraction ain't got nothing to do with love.
It wasn't. But it was just like, I think that was more of you here, I'm here, we the only ones here. Literally, we the only black people in this school. So literally, we might as well just hook up. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't bring no white girl home.
The internet shows you plenty of people that you think are butt ugly, and they be talking about, isn't she so beautiful, or isn't he so fine? And you be looking like, where, what?
But yeah,
I don't see it.
I think I don't know. First time I really knew I was in love though, was when she made me feel comfortable with who I was. Like when she made me, that was something different. So right, my first girlfriend was my first girlfriend, but my wife, like when I was 20-something, I've been fat my whole life. So I'm gonna just be real 100% with y'all. So I never thought I was attractive because I was fat. I never thought that a girl would like me. I never thought I was attractive, even though I had girls tell me I was cute, and you know what I'm saying. I had girlfriends and all
You
of
was
that.
the man in these streets.
On the inside, I never felt like who I really was attractive until I met Trisha, which is probably why we're still together right now. Because something about her made me feel like I could just be me.
You can walk around with your shirt off.
I could walk around with my shirt off, my pants off, right? Like I never took my shirt off. You know right now. I don't think y'all ever seen me without a shirt on. I'm 39.
Stop it.
It's been years. But yeah, I think that was the first time. The fact of the week that we could take to work with us. Are you serious? This is our first installment of this episode.
I guess
our segment.
Since we've been going through the pandemic and everybody's germaphobe and things like that, and we're disinfecting. Mine is that copper doorknobs are self-disinfecting. So copper doorknobs look good, but the reason why they made doorknobs mostly copper back in the day is because they're self-disinfecting. So they naturally disinfect because of the copper and its alloys or whatever the case may be. They are like brass and stuff like that. They are naturally kill bacteria.
That is a random fact to take to work. Copper doorknobs are naturally disinfected.
You lose 30% of your taste buds. I'll give you another fact when you're in the air flying. There you go.
You lose what?
You lose 30% of your taste when you fly. So that's why airplane food gets a bad rap. You just ain't tasting half of it anyways because of the altitude and the pressure in the cabin.
I'm tripping. How do they know it's 30%? All right, go ahead, then.
This week in Black History, her name is Angela James, is a retired women's hockey star. Just the second Black person inducted into Canada's Hockey Hall of Fame. During her long career, James won a number of gold medal world championships as a member of the Canadian women's national hockey team. So we got a Black woman in Canada playing hockey.
Black men started hockey, so yeah, in Canada, so that makes sense.
That's something I have never thought about a single moment of my life, a Black woman playing hockey. I've seen Black men play hockey, but we got one of the best hockey skaters ever in this podcast right now. But I never thought of a Black woman skating. Like, that's amazing. I never even thought about that. Like, really? Like, I never even thought about that. Okay. All right, I'm tripping, man. First, I'm thinking about 30%.
Here we go. Here's a joke.
Black. And now the Black woman hockey player. All right, go ahead, Dad.
One Sunday after church, Mom asked her little daughter what the Sunday school lesson was about. Her daughter asked her, "Don't be scared, you'll get your quilts." Needless to say, Mom was perplexed. Later in the day, the pastor stopped by for tea. Mom asked him what that morning Sunday lesson was about. And he said, "Be not afraid, thy comforter is coming." Get it? So she thought it was "be not afraid."
Right, comforter, quilt. Right. I got it. You got to know what a quilt is. Get that one. If you don't know what a quilt is, you probably would understand it. That was funny. All right, this is DJ Double OG. We got Are You Serious? We got Dad. It's been episode 6 of the Real Family Therapy Podcast. It's been a really good episode, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate y'all, man, for doing the podcast with me again this week. Do we got any last words before we get up out of here?
Don't let the man change you. And, I do have one thing to say. If you watch the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, please do some research after, because it's very short-lived. The movie is short, so if you watch the movie, make sure you do a full, complete background on Fred Hampton and the actual story, opposed to just watching the movie itself. Yeah, that's all that I have to say.
I planned on watching that movie tonight. I haven't watched it yet, but I've been hearing stuff about it. I plan on watching it tonight. Dad, any last words?
No, I'm about done.
I'm done.